Hey gang, thanks for joining me for this one. This one won't be too long, but it's just a thought. I'm watching this Russia-Ukraine thing, right? And it's super interesting from a historical perspective. Obviously, people are dying, supply chains are disrupted, all that. Recently, it was reported, and you can look it up yourselves, that the Houthi rebels are using they've been using drones and rockets to attack Israel and fire at the ships. But for the first time that has been reported, the Houthis used a subsurface drone. So I looked up the subsurface drones, and of course they have like little submarines that the RC people use in the lakes, and that's not what I was looking for. The subsurface drones actually are basically a cracked out remote control torpedo. They do have some shape like submarines, but it's a remote control torpedo with a camera and a radar thing on it, and the guy's like controlling it from wherever, and they put it in the water, off it goes. And they attacked one of the American destroyers both in the air, on the surface, and one went underwater trying to hit the ship, and they all failed. But that's an interesting evolution of war. The Russian armor, and the Ukrainians as well, is struggling to deal with the use of drones. Ironically, one tank, which is a 1960s or 70s vintage Cold War Swiss-designed anti-aircraft tank that, from the picture I saw, it looks like the body of a tank, and on top, it looks like it has a mushroom with arms and a potato. It's the ugliest freaking tank I've ever seen, with an analog radar on the top. And this thing has been smoking the Russian drones left and right because it's so simple and it's fast that it's really effective against the new tech, which is kind of ironic that the really old tech has been very effective against the very new tech. But the newer Russian tanks, the Armadas, the T-90s, and then the Ukrainian versions, and they've got a mix of Challengers and Leopard tanks and whatever the hell else they've accumulated. They're having a hell of a time dealing with drone hits. The Bradley fighting vehicles actually are not doing bad because they're fast and they have different types of weapons to engage small and large targets. But the tanks are really meant to fight large things, and they're getting attacked by these little drones, and they really don't have a defense. So really interesting. But the use of the subsurface drone is really concerning to me, because drone technology is not expensive. We all know that. We have so much going on in our country right now. We have so many unknown players inside the US, inside Canada, inside Mexico. Mexico's got a whole immigration problem now too. Inside our allies, Britain, France, Germany, Sweden, Finland, all these nations. Use of drones in warfare is bad. Use of drones for sabotage could be catastrophic. I just envision this for a second. A bad player decides, oh, you know what? I'm going to go disrupt New York Harbor. So they get this stupid small drone, pack it with whatever the hell they think will work, and they go into, say, the Loop, which is the Louisiana offshore oil platform. This is where the tankers come. I think it's platform or pipeline, I don't remember. The tankers come, they stay offshore, they pull up to these platforms, connect and dump the oil, and the oil goes into the refineries from there. So that way the big ships don't have to actually go all the way up the river to the harbor. They have like basically an offshore offloading station. Imagine using drones to take out telecommunications cables in the ocean. Imagine using drones to take out or do damage to the supports of bridges. Even worse, you go to the Louisiana oil platforms, you go to the Gulf of Mexico platforms off of Texas, you go to New York Harbor, And let's just say they get a drone or a remote control ship and they hit a cargo ship in New York Harbor, right? At first, the Coast Guard will go, oh, it's an accident. When they realize it's a terror attack, especially if they hit several things at once, it's going to shut down New York Harbor. LA would be just as vulnerable. Do we have defenses for this shit? Is there someone in our leadership, someone in the counterterrorism organization actually saying, wow, this could be actually horrendous? Imagine committing an act of espionage, or an act of sabotage, I should say, and then the first responders are showing up to help and you attack them with drones. The government spends a lot of time picking on citizens like myself. I need to go, I have a recreational license. If I want to get the advanced license, I have to go through an FAA, the background check, the fingerprints, and get take the class, pay $200. It's a whole rigmarole. We don't know who's coming across the border. We can't stop cocaine. We can't stop fentanyl. We can't stop human freaking beings from going back and forth. We can't stop illegal firearms, because some of the assassinations of people are being conducted with automatic weapons in Europe, which are illegal there, but they got them. They got these AKs from somewhere. This is something that really bothers me, because this is an evolution of warfare that can be used against the public. It can be used against infrastructure. It can be used against citizens. Yeah, it's really concerning. You want to shut down a country, you don't have to destroy the country. You don't have to pull a 9/11. You could have 20, say 50 jackasses with 50 drones, one in each state, and they're on a Facebook group about dogs, and then one person puts the code word that means begin. They may say beagles smell bad, and beagles smell bad is the code word. All these assholes read it and go, okay, we're going to execute the plan. And so that following Saturday at noon or whatever, following Monday at rush hour, each one of them sends a drone, flies it into something, and blows something up. Even if they fail, even if the damn thing blows up and doesn't hurt anyone. The panic, the shutdown that will inevitably occur, because now the government's like, holy shit, something's going on, but we don't know what to do, so we're going to shut down the country like they did after 9/11. Do you know how disruptive that would be? Do you know the panic that would cause? And when you think about the fact that the preparedness community, if it's that much, between veterans, preparedness, the outdoorsy people who are serious, 3% of the population, maybe 5, might be pushing it. Hell, even if it's 10, let's be generous. The other 90% of the people are going to be out there freaking the hell out. And then what? This is something that bothers the hell out of me. What do you do? I mean, obviously we can't buy the 1960s anti-aircraft tank, although that would be really cool. So if anyone does, please tag me in that video. Well, we need to make sure we have the amenities at our house, that if we need to lock down for a weekend, a week, 2 weeks, we have what we need. Okay, typically when a shutdown or some kind of government reaction occurs to an incident domestically, it takes about a week or two before they say, okay, this is kind of what's going on. Now we can let people go to work again, etc. You look at the Boston bombing, you look at 9/11, you look at the Rona, you look at the hurricanes. There's a period where it just turns off, and then they start turning things on again. Use those incidents as a template to say, okay, if we had terror attacks, do I have the things I need at home to defend myself, to feed myself, to take care of my family? Do I have the meds if someone has a heart condition, whatever? Think in these ways so that you're focusing your preparedness, you're focusing your money and your time and your effort. And yes, time is a resource, so you're not wasting any of it. You're not wasting your energy, your time, your money, your patience, And patience is a resource too. You're doing smart things every time you step out the door. All right, so not to fearmonger, not to panic people, but keep in mind we're witnessing the evolution of warfare, not in small amounts. We've seen drones, we've been using drones in Afghanistan for 15 years. But this evolution to small unit tactics with drones for offensive purposes, not reconnaissance, in an effective manner, right? Because they've been using drones, like I said, 15, 20 years we've been using remote control vehicles. But using it the way they are, small groups trying to create a lot of damage with very little hardware and equipment, that's something all the bad guys are paying attention to. The most important thing for us is to be off the roads, off the streets, out of the picture if something like that happens. So do you have what you need to do that, reasonably so, for a few days at least, if not a couple of weeks? Just something to think about as we watch what's going on. Till next time, folks, God bless, Godspeed. Make sure you save your time, money, patience, resources, and make the best decisions with them, with what you got. Till next time, I will see you on the next video. Be good out there.